After the age of 60, your body no longer processes sugar the way it once did. Blood sugar spikes become more frequent. Energy crashes happen out of nowhere. And for many seniors, these silent fluctuations lead to fatigue, blurred vision, poor sleep, mood swings, even an increased risk of heart disease and cognitive decline. What's more alarming? These symptoms are often ignored, dismissed as normal aging, but they're not. They are red flags, your body's quiet warning that something is off. In Western countries like the US, UK, and parts of Europe, nearly 1 in 3 people over 65 are either diabetic or prediabetic. The solution isn't always more medication, it's smarter, more natural daily habits. And it starts with food. In this episode of Elderly Reflections, we'll walk through 5 natural foods that doctors now recognize as powerful tools for stabilizing blood sugar after 60. These foods are easy to find, gentle on the digestive system, and proven to support senior health without harsh side effects. You'll also learn how they improve circulation, reduce inflammation, and support steady energy levels throughout the day, giving you more control, more clarity, and more calm in daily life. If you believe in living with intention, if you appreciate elderly wisdom and life lessons from the elderly, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon to stay connected with every reflection, every insight, every story that brings clarity and motivation for seniors like you. Let's begin. Let's begin with a fruit that sits quietly in nearly every kitchen, the apple. We've heard it 1,000 times. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. But what does that really mean for someone over 60 trying to manage their blood sugar naturally? Turns out, quite a lot. Apples are rich in a soluble fiber called pectin, which slows down digestion and keeps glucose from rushing into the bloodstream. This delay means fewer spikes and fewer crashes, something critically important for seniors who no longer process insulin as efficiently. But there's more. Apples also contain polyphenols, powerful plant compounds that reduce inflammation and improve the body's response to insulin. For aging adults, these properties work like a soft cushion, absorbing the pressure that the pancreas, liver, and heart can no longer handle with ease. To get the most benefit, seniors should choose red-skinned apples, slice them thin for easier chewing, and pair them with protein or healthy fat, like a bit of almond butter or a few raw walnuts, to slow glucose absorption even further. This combination not only helps with blood sugar, but provides a steady stream of energy without the need for processed snacks. Henry, 82 from Oregon, is one of many quiet success stories. After weeks of feeling dizzy in the mornings and fatigued after meals, his granddaughter, a nutritionist, recommended replacing his bedtime cookies with half an apple and a few walnuts. "I didn't expect anything magical," Henry admitted. "But after 2 weeks, I was waking up clearer, more balanced, like my body found its rhythm again." This is the kind of elderly wisdom we often overlook, that healing doesn't always come in dramatic moments, but in tiny, daily habits. The apple is a gentle companion and a consistent ally in the journey to stable blood sugar. From the orchard stillness, we head into the quiet underbrush where another gift from nature waits in blue clusters. Blueberries, often praised for memory and focus, but equally powerful in blood sugar control. These small fruits are loaded with anthocyanins, natural pigments that do far more than give them their vibrant color. Anthocyanins actively improve insulin sensitivity and reduce the rate at which carbohydrates break down in the digestive system. This is especially important for seniors, who often experience slower metabolism and reduced insulin production. Blueberries offer a buffer, softening the glycemic impact of meals and preventing the fatigue that follows high-carb foods. But beyond science, there's something deeply comforting about blueberries. They're easy to eat, gentle on aging teeth, and bring a refreshing sweetness that doesn't rely on added sugar. For seniors trying to limit processed treats, blueberries offer a satisfying and safe alternative. Elena, 69, who lives alone in the English countryside, had relied on tea and biscuits for years. After being diagnosed with prediabetes, her doctor advised her to change her breakfast. At first, she resisted. What else would I eat? She wondered. But after replacing the biscuits with Greek yogurt, blueberries, and a sprinkle of chia seeds, everything changed. Now I look forward to breakfast, she told her sister. I feel full but light, and I don't get that midday crash anymore. Her glucose monitor showed the proof. Within a month, her post-meal readings dropped significantly. From a sweet comfort to a royal fruit of ancient medicine, our next natural food is nothing short of a red jewel. Few fruits are as visually striking or as biochemically rich as pomegranates. For seniors, this fruit is a triple weapon against blood sugar imbalance, cardiovascular strain, and chronic inflammation. Inside its ruby red seeds lies punica lagan, a rare and potent antioxidant shown to lower oxidative stress and enhance insulin function. But that's only the beginning. Pomegranates also support circulation, helping blood flow more freely, a gift for aging bodies struggling with hypertension or vascular stiffness. And because blood flow is directly tied to how glucose moves through the body, this benefit indirectly supports sugar regulation. Studies have shown that regular consumption of pomegranate juice can reduce fasting blood glucose, improve lipid profiles, and lower blood pressure without the side effects of medication. For seniors, that's more than helpful. It's liberating. The best way to enjoy pomegranate is either by drinking a small glass of pure juice, 4 Oz daily is plenty, or by adding the seeds, known as arils, to salads, oatmeal, or cooked grains like quinoa. Jean-Pierre, 74, from Avignon, France, never liked supplements. They feel fake to me, he said. But after his cardiologist recommended a more natural approach, Jean-Pierre began drinking a small glass of pomegranate juice mid-morning. He called it his red ritual. 3 months in, his glucose readings improved, and his blood pressure dropped enough to reduce his medication. I never thought something so ancient could be so effective, he said with a smile. With stronger blood flow comes better energy. And next, we look at a fruit that works from deep within the digestive system. Let's take a look at papaya, a tropical fruit that offers far more than a pleasant flavor. It brings relief to one of the most overlooked challenges in senior health: poor digestion. As we age, our gut's ability to break down food, absorb nutrients, and eliminate waste weakens. This isn't just uncomfortable, it directly affects blood sugar. Poor digestion leads to incomplete absorption of nutrients, irregular glucose uptake, and chronic inflammation, all of which disrupt the body's internal balance. Papayas contain papain, an enzyme that gently helps digest proteins, easing the load on the pancreas and aiding smoother metabolism. The fruit is also packed with fiber, vitamin C, and folate, which reduce inflammation, support the immune system, and optimize nutrient absorption. Its texture is soft, easy on aging teeth and gums, and its flavor is naturally sweet without being high in sugar. Many seniors find it works best when eaten after a meal, especially lunch, to aid digestion and prevent that heavy, bloated feeling that leads to afternoon crashes. Gloria, 78, from Miami, was one of many who had tried antacids, fiber pills, and digestive teas with little relief. I thought feeling like this was just part of getting old, she said. But after a friend in her senior community suggested a bowl of ripe papaya after lunch each day, she noticed a major difference. I go regularly, I'm not bloated, and my sugar stays steady through the afternoon. Honestly, I feel younger. From digestive support, we now turn to something most wouldn't even call food, yet its effects on blood sugar are powerful and proven. Cinnamon, warm, aromatic, and familiar, is not just a spice for flavor. It's a functional tool in glucose regulation. Modern research shows that cinnamon, especially Ceylon cinnamon, mimics insulin by increasing the uptake of glucose into cells. It also slows the breakdown of carbohydrates in the digestive system, preventing sharp post-meal spikes. What makes cinnamon especially useful for seniors is its low risk, high impact. It doesn't need to be taken in high doses. Just half a teaspoon per day stirred into tea, coffee, or warm cereal can show results in a matter of weeks. More importantly, it integrates seamlessly into daily life. Don, 76, a retired Navy vet from North Carolina, scoffed at the idea at first. "I'm not into this health nut stuff," he said. But after his doctor offhandedly mentioned cinnamon's benefits, Don figured he'd give it a try. No pills, just spice in his coffee. Within a month, his glucose readings dropped consistently. "That's the only thing I changed," he said. "Now my doctor says I might be able to stay off the meds. That's a win." The beauty of cinnamon is in its simplicity. It doesn't fight the body, it supports it. And that's exactly what senior health should be about. These 5 foods, apples, blueberries, pomegranates, papayas, and cinnamon, aren't trends. They're tools, backed by science and supported by real seniors making real changes. They don't demand major sacrifice or expensive regimens. What they ask is intention, consistency, and a willingness to return to the simple wisdom our elders always knew, that nature often provides the best medicine. At Elderly Reflections, we believe senior health isn't about chasing miracles. It's about embracing what already works. But eating the right foods is only half the story. In the next part, we'll explore the mistakes many seniors make even when they're eating well, habits and beliefs that unknowingly sabotage blood sugar stability. Stay with us. You may recognize yourself in one of them, and more importantly, you'll learn how to gently turn things around. Even when the right foods are on the table, when apples replace cookies, blueberries become breakfast, and cinnamon is stirred into morning tea, many seniors still find themselves facing the same frustrations: tiredness, brain fog, erratic energy, and confusing blood sugar results. Why does this happen? Why, even with such good intentions, does the body seem to resist balance? The answer lies not in what is eaten, but in what surrounds the eating. The habits that wrap around meals, the timing, the posture, the rhythm. For people over 60, the body operates on a different tempo, and small decisions, once harmless, now carry weight. Let's look at the 5 most common ways seniors unknowingly sabotage their blood sugar, even while trying their best. It often starts in the early hours of the day, by not eating soon enough after waking. Many older adults delay breakfast out of habit or lack of appetite. Some are following popular trends like intermittent fasting, which may work well for younger people. But after 60, the body's hormonal rhythm shifts. When the stomach is empty for too long, cortisol rises to maintain energy, triggering the liver to release stored glucose. This results in a paradox. Even without food, blood sugar climbs. Martha, a retired nurse from Birmingham, fell into this pattern during lockdown. "I wasn't really hungry until noon," she said, "so I'd wait to eat." Her glucose meter told a different story. Her fasting sugar hovered around 140 most mornings. It wasn't until her doctor explained how cortisol works in older adults that she made a change. Now she eats a small protein-rich breakfast within an hour of waking: boiled eggs, berries, and half a slice of whole grain toast. Within 3 weeks, her morning levels dropped to 100, 110. "It felt like I reset something," she shared. For seniors, breakfast isn't just a meal, it's a message to the body. You're safe, you're fed, you can stabilize. Then comes another trap, wrapped in the appearance of health, choosing foods that seem healthy but trigger sugar spikes. Many seniors reach for fruit juice, whole grain crackers, low-fat yogurt, or energy bars, assuming they're nourishing. But these foods, while better than processed sweets, still hit the bloodstream fast. Juice lacks fiber. Low-fat yogurts are often packed with sugar. "I drank orange juice every morning for years," said Stan, 68, from Toronto. "It was part of my routine." Yet his continuous glucose monitor showed a steep rise within 20 minutes of drinking it, up to 190 milliliters DL. He was shocked. With the help of a dietitian, he began blending a smoothie with unsweetened almond milk, half a banana, frozen spinach, flax seeds, and a spoon of almond butter. "Now the numbers barely move," he said, "and I stay full till lunch." For seniors, how foods are combined: protein, fiber, healthy fat, is more important than the label on the box. A food that works for a younger metabolism can overwhelm an older one. But it's not just food, it's what happens after food. And one of the most silent mistakes is also the most common: sitting still right after eating. In younger years, our muscles act like sponges, pulling glucose out of the bloodstream after a meal. But as muscle mass declines with age, that system slows down. When a senior eats lunch and then reclines in a chair or lies down for a nap, blood sugar tends to rise sharply and stay elevated longer. Leonard, 80, a retired principal from Minnesota, didn't understand why his sugar was climbing despite light meals. His endocrinologist asked him one question: "Do you move after you eat?" Leonard laughed. "I usually sit with a crossword puzzle." With that in mind, he began walking slowly around his garden for 10-15 minutes after meals. Within a week, his post-meal readings dropped by 20-30 points. "It's not exercise," he said. "It's just movement. But it works." For aging bodies, motion is medicine, especially right after food. No gym required. There's another silent misstep: not eating enough protein and fat. Seniors often reduce meat and dairy out of concern for cholesterol or indigestion, replacing them with light carbohydrates: toast, crackers, fruit, soup. While these feel easier to digest, they digest fast, raise sugar quickly, and leave the body hungry again. What's more, older adults need more protein than younger people to maintain muscle and metabolic function. Helga, 72, from Copenhagen, thought her vegetable-based diet was keeping her healthy, but she was constantly fatigued and cold. A nutritionist reviewed her intake: less than 35 grams of protein per day. "That's not enough to support a toddler," the woman said kindly. Helga was shocked. Slowly, she reintroduced soft-boiled eggs, Greek yogurt, and cooked fish. Her blood sugar stopped swinging, her sleep improved, and she no longer needed afternoon naps. "It wasn't about eating more," she said. "It was about eating smarter." For seniors, protein is not a bodybuilding supplement. It's a blood sugar stabilizer. And finally, we come to the quietest mistake of all: not drinking enough water. It seems unrelated, but dehydration directly affects glucose concentration. When the body lacks fluid, the blood becomes thicker and sugar levels rise. Seniors often have a diminished thirst signal. They may go hours without sipping, especially in cooler weather. Josephine, 77, from Denver, was surprised when her lab results showed a fasting glucose of 150. "I hadn't eaten anything sugary," she said. But when asked how much water she drank that day, she paused. "Maybe a cup?" The nurse brought her 2 glasses of water and asked her to retest later. Her level dropped to 125. From that day forward, Josephine made a rule: a glass with every meal and one between. "It changed more than just my sugar," she said. "Even my joints feel better." Hydration affects the kidneys, the liver, the digestive system, all players in glucose management. For seniors, water is not a luxury. It's essential chemistry. When you add it all together, these aren't dramatic choices. No one decides to spike their blood sugar. But over time, these small oversights, delayed breakfasts, sugary health foods, sitting after meals, too little protein, too little water, become the reasons behind the roller coaster. The glucose numbers go up and down, the energy fades, the mind fogs, and many seniors begin to think, maybe this is just how aging feels. But it isn't. These mistakes don't mean you failed. They mean you weren't told the whole story. What hurts more than the glucose reading is the sense of helplessness, of doing everything right and still feeling off. But here's the truth: your body is still capable of change, still listening, still responding. Sometimes it's not about adding new foods, it's about honoring the ones you already eat by giving them the right rhythm, the right support, the right conditions. These 5 silent habits can feel like a slow erosion, a subtle decline, the J-curve of the journey, the dip where doubt lives. But it's also the most powerful place, because from here, we rise. Change doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it shows up in the quietest way: a sip of water before breakfast, a walk after lunch, a decision to eat with intention instead of habit. After the mistakes come the lessons. And after the low point, when blood sugar is unpredictable, when energy dips without warning, when the mirror reflects someone unfamiliar, that's where the turn begins. It started small for Earl, 71, a retired firefighter in Vermont. He had spent his life responding to emergencies, but now his own health was becoming one. After years of relying on black coffee and a muffin to get going, his blood sugar was stuck in the 180s, even with medication. One day, his granddaughter, a third-year med student, visited. She asked one question: "What if you ate like your job depended on it?" That hit him. Earl started eating a balanced breakfast: scrambled eggs, sautéed spinach, and half a sliced apple before 8 a.m. "It wasn't fancy," he said, "but it grounded me." Within 2 months, his fasting sugar dropped to the 110s. He didn't change his meds, he changed his rhythm. I finally understood that food wasn't just fuel, it was instruction. Rhythm became the theme for many seniors who reclaimed their health. Like Mirabelle, 76, in Marseille, who always ate well: Mediterranean diet, olive oil, fresh vegetables, but her blood sugar was still unstable. What changed? Her movement after meals. Inspired by her neighbor, she began doing slow Tai Chi in the courtyard for 15 minutes after lunch. "It felt silly at first," she said, "but my body started to respond. Not just my sugar, my balance, my confidence, even my mood." Within weeks, her glucose stopped spiking. The same meals, the same food, but now paired with motion, the body's forgotten partner. Then there's Samuel, 82, from Chicago, a widower, former accountant, meticulous with his diet, but completely disconnected from hydration. "I thought tea was enough," he shrugged. His doctor, noticing persistent high fasting glucose, suggested something shockingly simple: drink a full glass of water before every meal. Samuel committed. No excuses. 1 glass before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It felt pointless at first, he laughed. But by the 3rd week, his numbers dropped. His digestion improved, his sleep deepened. "It was like my body finally had the tools it needed," he said, "and all I did was drink water." Sometimes the turning point isn't food or movement, it's mindset. Lydia, 74, in Ireland, had resigned herself to bad genetics. Both her parents had diabetes. She assumed she couldn't change the outcome. "I was careful but hopeless," she said. Then she read a quote online: "What you tolerate becomes your normal." That line unsettled her. Lydia started journaling her habits, not just what she ate, but how she felt after, how long she waited between meals, whether she sat or moved. That self-awareness sparked small but powerful shifts. She added more protein, cut out low-fat processed snacks, and walked after dinner instead of watching TV. "I didn't do anything radical," she said. "I just stopped ignoring myself." Within months, her A1C dropped by a full point. But more than that, she felt in control again, like her life belonged to her, not her diagnosis. These stories aren't about perfection. They're about awareness, about refusing to be passive in the face of aging, about realizing that the body, even after 60, 70, 80 years of life, still wants to work with you, not against you. The science backs this up. Studies have shown that small, consistent lifestyle changes, like increasing protein intake, timing meals more evenly, walking for 10 minutes after eating, and staying hydrated, can reduce A1C by up to 1.5% without medication in adults over 65. That's not theory. That's measurable transformation. But here's what science doesn't always capture: the look on someone's face when they realize they're not broken, that they haven't missed their chance, that even at 70 or 80, change is not only possible, it's powerful. And these changes create a ripple: better sleep, steadier energy, clearer thinking, fewer mood swings, less dependency, more dignity. Not just numbers on a chart, but life lived with confidence. As one elderly woman from Wisconsin put it, "I thought I was surviving. Now I feel like I'm participating again." So here we are. From the humble apple to the quiet walk after lunch, from small sips of water to moments of choosing again, this is what real health looks like after 60. It's not about chasing youth, it's about honoring what still works, what still matters, and what can still change. If you take just one thing from today's reflection, let it be this. Your body is listening, not to noise or pressure, but to rhythm, to care, to the calm daily choices you make for yourself, because you deserve to feel steady. You deserve clarity, peace, and energy that lasts past noon. At Elderly Reflections, we're here for that kind of health, the one built on awareness, not fear, on elderly wisdom, not gimmicks. Because life after 60 isn't a decline, it's a different kind of strength. If today's video brought you insight or comfort, please give it a like. Subscribe for more reflections rooted in real experience, senior health, and true life stories that speak to who we are now. And before you go, where are you watching from today? Drop your country, your city, or your age in the comments. Let's build a space of stories, not just stats. We're listening.